Hi, welcome to Soundings with Sash. If you join me, please put in the comments. And if you're on the replay, put hashtag replay. Thanks. I'm having a great time tonight. It's a Monday night. How are you guys doing out there? So, hey, JMC, Jason Mayer Coaching. Nice to see you. I am so excited. I have a wonderful guest tonight. You've probably seen him on some of our shows. He's always interactive. He's always supportive. And I would call him totally Mr. Positive. So I'd like to welcome him to my show tonight, Soundings with Sash, Larry Schneider. Welcome, Larry. Here, I got some happy music.
How we doing, Sandy?
Because we're jamming. You're just like that happy guy. See, I knew you'd be a happy guy like that.
Keep it going.
Funky music. It's music I'm allowed to use, which is I'm not going to get shut down for it. So I made this sign in your honor last week. Last week I made the sign, Positive Training Live. If there's anybody that I have talked to or I know that's more positive than you, no, there's nobody. It's totally you. So I have the first question about that. What makes you so positive?
You know, it's just life's easier.
Life's easier.
It's to me, it's a waste of time to be negative. There's a reason why it's being negative. You know,
yeah.
You're not supposed to be in that situation. There's a lesson to be learned, and you know it should be simple. So if you're struggling, change it.
There you go. Where did you learn that? Where was the first time that you learned that?
A lot of hard knocks.
Hard knocks.
You know, I used to running my own business. You're always dealing with it. And it's funny how it always turns out there's always a positive solution. Maybe it's just old age too, but there's always a positive solution to everything you do. I don't go as fast as what I used to, so maybe that helps too.
Yeah, but not everybody has that attitude. There are people in the world that are not positive. They don't have a positive attitude. You know, they let life, weigh them down. And it's like, what is your first piece of advice to give somebody that just can't get out of the rut? Like they're always like criticizing themselves, self-negative talk. What would be the first thing that you would say to them?
Oh, go out and serve others. You know, it's real simple because it is a choice, but go out there and help somebody.
Go out there and help somebody.
Positive, yeah. Everybody needs help in some areas of their life. So, that's something that I have a blast networking because you get to mastermind to help each other. And it's
right.
To me, it's just way fun to, get up in the morning already fired up, ready to go.
That's right. That's right. Well, I put together some things that I've learned along the way, and I'm going to flash it up here on the screen. And if you want to see the whole list, you can go to my Facebook page, Sandy Archer Spiritual Health. But let's start the day with a positive affirmation. How do you start your day? That would be the first thing. Like, what are you looking at in the morning? What are you thinking about the first thing you wake up? Like when you start your day, that kind of just starts your whole attitude towards the rest of the day, right? So I have some positive affirmations hanging in my bathroom just to look at so I remember. So I've got this one, you got this. Like the first thing I see is something positive, to put me in that mode. What about you? What are your positive affirmations, Larry?
I'm just grateful for another day. My first thing that I do is I get text every morning of Darren Hardy, and I listen to his.
Who was that?
Darren Hardy.
Darren Harvey. Okay.
Hardy. Yeah. He sends an email out. It's a positive, and that's what I
So can they sign up to get something like that? Can they sign up for that?
Yeah. You just go out to Darren Hardy and it's an email blast that you get is at 7 o'clock every morning.
7 o'clock every morning.
Yeah.
Because you're
Yep,
already up zooming at
every
7 o'clock,
morning.
right?
Yeah, I start my day at 5. Yeah.
Okay. So
By 7,
to
I've
get
already on
yourself
my.
up there, so you start at 5. Do you drink coffee? Do you what's your kind of morning routine that gets you in the mode? Anything specific?
The minute I get up, I drink 64 ounces of my Kangen water immediately before anything
Oh,
else
okay.
happens. And then I usually listen to Darren Hardy and then get around and check messages. And one of my first Zoom calls is our East Coast networking group, and that's 7 o'clock every morning.
Yeah, 7 o'clock every morning. That's early. So, I mean, do you have any suggestions about this thing? I mean, is it a habit that you have to look at it or not look at it, or something that you tell yourself not to do?
I've been trying to not touch it 30 minutes after I get up. They say wait an hour, but I can't wait that long. It's already going ding, ding, ding. I got people face messaging me and everything else start wanting to start. Let's go.
Oh,
So
let's go.
that's a hard one for me. Yeah. And I haven't turned it off yet. So,
right.
I haven't learned to hit that off switch.
So I know that you have some positive affirmations that you say only because you've sent them to me before. So what would be something that you try to tell people, different people?
Oh my gosh. It's just keep it simple. Everything you do needs to be simple. Keep it simple and have fun.
Keep it simple and have fun.
If you're struggling, it's not. You got to change. Get in a rut though, and people stay in the rut. It's hard to get out. It's just you get into that routine. I see myself too, but I don't have time for negative. If somebody's being negative with me, hey, I got to go. I just it's just to the point. I want to run with high energy, positive people, and I set my standards at that. And it's if you're going to whine and bellyache, sorry, I've got about 2 seconds for that.
Well, because positive has an energy to it, right? So so we can fall into the positive or the negative. Hey, Tom, thanks for joining. Okay, Jason said he used to get Darren Hardy's. That's awesome. So nice to see you, Tom. Right on, simple, yes. So, I mean, I think sometimes we get into a routine, but that can also get monotonous too, right? Can't
sure.
Don't you think you got to be careful not to have that be a rut for you as well? And so I'm gonna put up here another thing to do in our positive. Focus on the good things.
Yeah.
When you encounter a challenge, focus on the benefits, no matter how slight or unimportant. So, I mean, we have challenges every day, right? I mean, I come up against challenges. I do this, even just driving to work, you could have a flat tire, low on gas, whatever. It's all in the attitude of your thinking. It has, and it's an energy to it. So it's just as easy to be positive about something as it is to be negative.
Just like you said, with say just something that's like a flat tire, even though it's aggravating, but it's a blessing because you weren't supposed to be in some certain spot down that road. Something happened to hold you back. That's the way I've always learned. Okay, it's done for a reason.
Right.
Probably never know what the reason is, but
sometimes we don't. Sometimes we don't know the reason until later. Sometimes it's definitely later. So Tom says ADHD, never get bored.
Yeah.
I call it multitasking, Tom. I call it multitasker. I would always put that on my resume. I'm a good multitasker. Little did they know that ADHD might have been part of the situation. But I mean, so as far as positive thinking goes and positive training, I know that you do different classes and have done, personality training and that kind of thing. When you encounter somebody that is a negative person, and say you have kind of surmised that, yes, this person is kind of a negative, what do you usually tell them? How do you coach them?
You know, again, it's just always be positive. There's always something good about it. Just don't allow them to wear you down in that. No matter what it is, you find the positive from it. There is positive in everything you do. So, it's only talk about the positive. Usually when somebody's complaining, you just look them right in the eye and say, "What are you grateful for today?" And that just throws them all out of whack. So, and it's a choice. You can stand there and be drawn into it, or you can change it.
Yeah.
I choose to change it. Or hey, gotta go. Catch you later.
So you don't try to change their mind. You just put a boundary on it.
Yeah, and that's, I hate to say it, but you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink it. And it's the same way with training and all that. You're either teachable or you're not. So
always be teachable. Right. And Tom says he can focus almost as long as a goldfish. Mine is a squirrel. Squirrel.
I try not to tell people what they need to do. You should do it this way. You should do it that way.
No.
I'm working really hard on that to say, what's your thoughts about trying it this way, and letting them have the choice. And I'm getting better at that because I'm an action person. I love personal development. I love getting involved in stuff. And sometimes I got to catch myself. Okay, stand back and watch instead of get out of my way. Let me do it so we can move on.
Right. So, that's right. I put a boundary on it. If I've called up someone and they are in a negative state, I do one of two things. I actually try to listen and try to find the root of that, and try to listen and say, well, what caused this? Or, what do you think was the trigger to this? Or, and I kind of, draw them out of the situation. Or I try to divert their attention onto something else. I ask them a question that's outside of that situation and say, hey, so how is so-and-so, or, what's going on with you and this, and try to draw them away from that, because instead of just saying, okay, well, bye, I try to I'm always trying to coach people, I think, and I'm always trying to get them into that positive mindset. So, I want to know, kind of what their trigger is, and I'll try to steer them out of it, and maybe, we'll go back to it, but maybe they'll look at it with different eyes by the time we get back around to the conversation, or try to. So that's just something I use. But I'm also going to put up here. Okay. So a lot of people, and I do this, I find myself, we find humor in the bad. When, allow yourself to have humor in the bad times, just make it, make it a little bit like when I'm in a weird situation, I tend to use humor. And I think that people don't understand that, that you kind of have to lighten up the room, you have to lighten up the load of whatever's going on. And my dad, who is an investigator, says, if you ever, come up on a scene, where something bad has happened, you'll see a lot of the, first responders or anybody, standing outside, and they kind of have to, they're kind of joking. You can tell that they're kind of joking with each other. It's just a way that the mind kind of diverts from dealing with those kind of situations, and I think we can use humor. And I don't know if you've ever, not to be morose, but have you ever been to a funeral where everybody's standing around laughing because of the things that, the person has said and brought into it. And that's just the way that we naturally deal with things sometimes. And so you just can't stay there. You have to come out of that. You have to look at things like, and talk about that person in that light, and, have the humorous stories and share those, if you notice, in that situation, that happens a lot. Right. So even that situation can be turned differently with humor. Hey, Doug, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, Doug.
And
Doug.
Tom said about Gandhi. Yes. Don't let others walk in your mind with dirty feet. That's right. That's right. I mean, it takes less effort to be positive than negative. It really does. And what is the silver lining? What is happening that you can turn it around? Because we are in control of that. Like, we are in control totally on our mindset and on how we're going to handle the situation, if it's going to be positive or negative. Yep. So Larry, when was the last time that you had something negative happen, and what did you do? Nothing like putting you on the spot, right?
Yeah, and I don't know. I just don't deal with negativity. It's if it's something.
So you're the guy that's like, well, nothing's negative, everything's positive, because I turn it that way, right? So you're like spiraling the plates, right?
I think so. Yeah,
that's good.
It's just I just don't allow it to bother me. It's.
That's right.
I'm just learning to accept.
So what about? Yeah, go ahead.
I just don't allow the complaining. It doesn't get. There's no energy in the complaining. I laugh at myself when I do mess up, because it's it gets comical, because you should know better, but you go ahead and do it anyway. So
right, that's right.
And then failure and the lessons. There is no failure unless you totally quit.
Yeah.
It's. To me, failure, it's the obstacles are put in the way to see how bad you want it.
That's right. Well, there you go. Say that again. No, I want to hear that again.
Obstacles are put in the way to see how bad you want it.
To see how bad you want it.
You're going to jump to the next stepping stone, to the next, to the next, to the next. And if you're struggling, you need to jump on a different stepping stone. You never go back, or you never quit.
Right.
There's always a positive solution in everything.
There really can be. I mean, there are some situations that are tough, but you'll come out of it depending on how you change your mind to it. It's a simple shift. I say it's a simple shift. It's a shift. It's a mindset shift. You have to shift into that positive thinking mode. I tend to be on the sunny side of things, and people have actually criticized me before because of that, which is kind of like, you're always smiling, you're always happy, you're always this, and there are times I'm not, that we all go through stuff. We all have a real moment where everything's not happy and sunny and good, like, oh, I'm having a down day. But as long as you recognize that, and you actually deal with it, and you don't suppress it, and you don't oppress it, then it tends to resolve itself. But allow yourself that. You do need to allow yourself to be in that negative space just a little bit. You can't always be in the positive space, or you're not dealing with it sometimes. So, sure. That's just my advice to you, is to actually deal with it when it's present, when it's in your face, and go, okay, what can I do, and how can I change my mindset on this situation? And make that shift. It's not, things are not always, he knows how to neutralize. So you know how to neutralize. See, men and women, do you think that men and women deal with it differently or not?
Totally different. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
The women do it correctly, and the guys never do it correctly. So that's how.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I think there are men out there that can deal with that.
To me, again, it's still a choice.
It is still a choice.
You can't, I can't control other people's, attitudes.
And high grace,
say
I'm
you
at.
Want to, but
yes.
It's still a choice for you. And,
that's right. I like what Tom had to say. When your why and vision are strong, will propel you through the challenge. And of course, I always talk about that foundation. You have to know what your foundation is. If your foundation is shaky, then you're going to be tossed to and fro. You're not going to be able to have a clear focus on something. And I mean, I'm going to be honest. I mean, we all go through those wavering times, right? So Doug says he's still trying to find his true love after 3 marriages and 3 divorces, right? And sometimes, I wonder, not trying to coach you, Doug, but this is the time when you do the introspection, because sometimes the common denominator is you, right? So when we go through these challenging things, we go, why? Maybe it's some things that we haven't dealt with in ourselves. Maybe it's an inner truth that we need to find, and it's something inside that we need to fix to go forward. So, right. Those are the things, and positive thinking is absolutely, it's what we have to attain and we have to focus on. If you're not a naturally positive person, and that you kind of get in that rut, it is your choice to wake up and go, okay, I'm going to focus on getting from this place to this place. I mean, there's nothing worse than hearing that person that's always, bringing negative into, negative energy into your space. I mean, but for me personally, I like to reach out to those people and help those people, because, I want to find out why. I want the whys. I'm going to ask why. What's happened to you? What was hard in your life? I had a guy one time ask me that. He goes, tell me who hurt you. It was like a customer service guy, because I was being I guess now you would call it a Karen, right? Like I was kind of complaining about something, and he goes, and he touches my arm and he goes, tell me who hurt you. And I was like, he was a young guy, and I was just like, and he made me laugh, and that whole bring humor into it. He made me laugh, and that really helped me, to shift that whole, negative, I'm mad, I'm going to yell at somebody thing, Larry, do you ever yell at anybody madly? You don't, do you?
Used to years ago.
Oh, okay. So what got you out of doing that?
It's just, I finally realized there's, I was married once, divorced, and there's 2 sides to it. It's not all about you all the time.
There are 2 sides.
And sometimes, you have to learn about what the other person's wants and needs are. And, it's funny how simple it is when you sit down and communicate instead of hold it in. And then when you finally blow up, then your mouth overrides your brain, because I've had that situation several times. I hold it in, and, counseling and all that stuff. And, I thought I was a big tough guy. Didn't need it, but it greatly benefited me, because it helped me severely. Now it's just, it's, I don't know. It's just, I don't have time for negativity. It's not my job to make somebody else happy. It's, and I don't mean that meanly, but it's, I'm going to run with positive people. Most of the people that I'm learning to run with are upbeat, and it's, you want to be around that, it energizes you. You can pretty much tell, if there's a negative person around, you pick it out pretty quickly. So,
yes, I agree. And Tom, I have heard of the law of the 3: positive, negative, and neutralize. And I, when I was in my last profession, I was one of those people that had to always do conflict resolution. And most people, when they're upset and they're angry and they're negative, they just want someone to listen to them. They just want to be heard. It isn't always that they're angry and they are in that place. They just want to be heard. And so sometimes it is our job, if we're in that positive space, to help them to get to that positive space. Like he's saying, the positive 3, positive, negative, and neutralize. Conflict resolution is neutralizing. And I always had to go into in the hospital situation, it's called a code green. So when somebody is acting up and they need to call in somebody else to, help, it's a code green when a parent was getting upset or the patient was getting upset. So, your first thing, that you're trained is, just listen, because you don't always think what you don't know. You don't always know what the problem is. And by listening, it takes away, your bias and what you think is happening. And just truly listening is a key to positivity. It really is. But I also have another thing. So I don't know if you guys can see this. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And so having a foundation, a spiritual foundation, has helped me in the positive way. We all go through stuff. Life is a journey, and life is what you make it, and life is how you look at it. Right. Your worldview is made, your reality is made by you. What you allow in and what you allow out is totally in your control. And I think that people forget that they have that power and they have that strength. And, I allow, I'm of a spiritual sense. So I always check in with my spirit. I check in with the Holy Spirit. I check in with God. God is who I follow. So I don't know, what everybody's spiritual foundation is, but that's what I glean on, Christ who strengthens me. He was so positive. Jesus was a positive person. So he's who I follow. He's my mentor. He's the person that I want to emulate. Right. So he was always positive about things. He never was like, he was just like, oh yeah, but who are your other mentors, Larry?
Oh my gosh, you guys are all, I follow you, Ken Wolf. I follow Jeffrey Gittimer, Eric Lofholm, all you rock stars.
Well, I have to say, I'm so, I'm so thankful to you because you're who introduced me to Ken Walls. And Ken Walls and Tom is part of that. Doug is part of that whole group of people that are just so positive. It's that power of the five, right? The people that you have surrounding you, and they are all so positive. And Tom also, he's got the gratitude, the G-force, and making yourself, be around positive people is paramount to how you're going to behave too. If you're around a bunch of negative people or people that are trying to take advantage of people or that, birds of a feather flock together. Right. So, I mean, absolutely. I'm very thankful to you, Larry, because you're the one who was like, hey, follow me over here and follow me over there. And if you guys know Larry is Mr. Zoom, and he's a rock star. And he's the one always supporting everyone. So thank you guys for coming on today and supporting him and being on the show tonight. Because I appreciate that too. So our next thing, stop the negative talk. Now, Larry, were you ever in a space where you were negative talking yourself?
Yeah, years ago. Yeah, I had a hot head. I could go off pretty quick. But,
oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Ooh, man, I had a short fuse. Yeah.
So, was that for a long time or?
Not at people, but, I used to own a car body shop and stuff when things weren't going right. I could be a really bad hothead. And yeah, now that I look back at that, what a waste of time that was. It just made life harder. If I would have had smarts enough to walk away for a few minutes and turn around and go back and do it, I'd realize, because that's what I look at now. When I do the same stuff I used to do now, and I'm not having, it's not going correctly. Okay, back off for 2 seconds and take a 2-minute break and come back, and everything will go back to working smooth again. And again, it's a choice. And it's a choice, right? I don't waste my energy
Yes.
And but like you guys, I spend my whole day around positive people. Everybody, all these groups I am, they're always upbeat, and it's it's cool not being around the negativity stuff I used to. And family get-togethers, we'd have people come in, and you'd have to make they'd always be bitching, griping, and complaining, and you'd have to give them their space. That made them happy, and then after they let off their steam, everything was good. So it's
Wow.
so
Right.
it's one of those deals. When they come in, you might as well just piss them off right off the bat, and then the rest of the day's fantastic.
So you figured out the system. So you make them bad to start, so then they'll be positive later.
Working on it. It's just I still work on it. It's a daily process.
It's a daily process. Again, yes. It's a daily process.
It is. It takes work.
Yeah, I put positive training live, and the reason positive training, you have to put yourself in that space. I mean, we can all have those downtimes, and and again, I'm not saying, oh, we all have to be positive, 24/7, because you really do have to be real with yourself. You really do have to deal with some negative feelings and negative emotions, because if you don't, that it will come back to bite you later. I was the girl that had to smile all the time, going through some really bad stuff and just not dealing with my stuff. So I would put it off, I'll deal with that later. I'll deal with that later. I'll be positive today, but I'll deal with that later. So there's a balance beam kind of thing that you do have to deal with things negatively that come at you. And that's going to bring me to the next point. And you can look at this on my Facebook page, by the way. I know this is a terrible copy of it, but focus on being present, staying in the present moment, staying present. A lot of people don't know how just to be, do you know what I mean? Like, they just don't know how to be. Like, they don't know how to sit with their stuff, because they'll get distracted by, in like Tom was saying earlier, the ADHD thing. I have that thing where I would divert attention. If something I don't want to talk about or is negative, I'll shift, over here to something else. It does work, but it doesn't work if you continually do that and you don't deal with your stuff. So keeping the mindset, keeping out of that self-negative talk, being real with people. I think people who, being truthful with people, that's important. Have those hard conversations, even though you don't want to, that can help you to get out of that. Believe it or not, that's going to help you get out of the negative mode, because you're feeling all these feelings and you feel like you can't share those. Well, most people want you to share the truth with them. I think that we're so worried about hurting someone's feelings or not, confronting something, that it actually makes it worse. And that's where you're negative. That's how negative takes over you. And you're then not in that positive space. So if you're truthful with yourself, you're truthful with other people. Yeah, be truthful.
Even though it might be hard now.
It is hard. It's hard.
Positive will come out of, something in the long run, you're way better off to have that.
That's right. And when you apply gratitude, you learn to respond versus react. That's right. Be a first responder, not a reactor. That's right.
Yeah.
Just being truthful. You made it this far. Nothing has killed you this far, right? So we're still here, and you can do it. You can, like my little positive affirmation, you got this. And if you got this, if you just say to yourself, I got this, I can be my authentic, true self. I can be truthful, and I can be confronting, and I can still be positive. You don't have to take on, that weight of not confronting and suppressing your feelings. Staying present is huge. and just being. Like, don't worry about tomorrow, like it says in scripture. Don't worry about yesterday. You worry about today and what you can do today. And like you said in the very beginning, Larry, about serving people. Serving people is very fulfilling. But if you're not serving yourself sometimes, if you're not, fulfilling those cups that you need filled, you can be an empty cup. And you need to make sure that you're filling up your cup first, to be able to serve others. And that positive, will come. It takes a while. Sometimes if you're still in that negative mindset and things are not well, people do have problems. I mean, they're real. They're real problems. They don't have money. They don't have food. They don't have a place to live. Those are real situations, but, if that's happening to you, you have to think of ways on how you can get out of that. I always, have been talking lately, I got to hustle, and when I say hustle, and I don't mean hustle somebody else, I mean, I've got to work. I've got to do the work. And the work could be, I have to just get out there and work, or I have to get out there and, find the resources, to get through, and it's just all in the way you think about it. If sometimes when I've been at my bottom is when I've been the most successful. I don't know about you, when you don't have anything to lose, you have everything to gain.
To me, you got to take care of yourself, because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't help anybody else. I always tell people, I tell myself, look in the mirror. That's the one you got to take care of first, and then you go out and help everybody else. If you're all messed up, you can't help anybody else.
Yeah. And there's Jason. Thank you, Jason. That's nice. That he was a hothead a while.
Oh yeah. I look back, I used to let stuff bother me so bad, and this is bad to say, especially on live stream, but I used to let it hold it in till my arms and legs would go totally numb. And then when I did let it loose, it was just, then my mouth overrode my brain, and that was so bad I couldn't stand it. Now that I look back, you wouldn't stopping to think, and it's just, I don't allow myself to go there anymore. It's
right. You changed your mind about it. Yeah.
I just don't. My standards don't go below that.
That's good. That's good.
If it's not positive, it's not happening.
Right. If it's not positive, it's not happening. Okay, that's going to be your quote. If it's not positive, it's not happening. And I agree. I mean, I'm all about being positive and looking at the sunny side of things, looking at the silver lining. But like I said, some people are not. They kind of are in a family maybe where they weren't taught that. They were taught that everything is difficult, that everything is a challenge, that everything, and I've heard that, that the character in Winnie the Pooh, the Eeyore, the donkey Eeyore, I think about him, and I'm like, oh, he's when you meet that person that's an Eeyore, you're like, oh, there's an Eeyore, And of course, the inquisitive person that I am, I always have to ask them questions because I want to get to the root. I want them to change their mindset. So I'm like, hey, so, how are you? Well, what's going on? I mean, I'm not one to just like divert. I'm the one to go, okay, how can we get you out of this? Like, I'm probably way too much. I'm like Tigger. So they're like Eeyore, I'm like Tigger, So that's all I can think. There we go. Tom says, as a man thinketh, so he becomes. But some people are taught that in their families. Like you were saying that, you had a family issue like that. So what snapped you out of it finally though, Larry? I mean, what was the the
I think
bottom.
I think I just got to the bottom that couldn't go any lower, and I'm not putting up with this anymore. I'm going to change, and you know, because I look back of a lot of stuff. You know, if I had to do it over, it'd been a lot of difference. But you know, to me, I was an ornery little kid because I say I was kind of ornery, but growing up, and I got one sister, and then I had 7 or 8 nephews and nieces, and we'd all get together at grandma's, and they connives to go do something, and I'd be the only person doing it. They'd sit around laugh at me, and then I'd probably run 1,000,000 miles just ahead of that fly swatter from grandma. You know, she's always swapping that thing at me. And I was always just fast enough to outrun it about 2 to 3 inches. I could feel the breeze, but I've learned a lot of lessons. You know, oh my God, it's
That's funny. So what have you seen has been the difference in the mindset change? I mean, obviously, when we change our mindset and we're talking to somebody, I mean, we can influence others. I mean, well, you're an influencer. So when you're influencing someone else, you know, I mean, you can bring the energy up or you can bring it down, and it's kind of, you know, based on you can tell when somebody walks in and they're in that negative mindset. You're like, I wonder what's going on there, you know, waiting for the other shoe to drop, right?
Yeah, you know, with all the personal development I do, and it's when you stop to think about it, Danny Johnson, Eric Worre, Tony Robbins, all of them, it seems like they were down to their last dollar at the bottom.
Right.
Look at where they're at, and they finally just, I'm done with this. I'm going to change, and it's just
right. That's right.
Just, you got to. To me,
it's
it's
up
just
to you. It's up to you to change your mindset. It is up to you 100%.
Everything you do, it's a choice, and you know you can be positive or you can be negative, and there's consequences with both of them.
Right.
So, you know, it's just I choose to be happy, and I just don't let things bother me like they used to. You know, and it's hard to explain. It's just I don't have time for that. You know.
Right.
I don't want to be down in the dumps, because it seems like when you get below that standard, it does go clear to the bottom, and there's just no time for in that zone anymore.
Right. That's right. You cannot. So Tom, this is Tom's quote: "The threads of your thoughts create the garment you wear." That is so true. Yeah. Of course, it's making me think of Joseph's coat of many colors. But yeah, the threads of your thought create the garment you wear. It's true. It's true. Yeah. Our mind is so powerful. Like, what we think is who we are. What we think will change our whole worldview, will change our home environment. And so it's very important that you try to stay on that positive side, you know, to have a better day. I mean, I want to have a better day, don't you? Yeah. Like, who wants to have a bad day? You know, why? You know, why have a bad day when you can have a good day? It's up to you.
Good day.
You get to choose. And I think that people don't think they can choose. I don't think that they are able to choose. Mm-hmm. So anyway.
High-powered networkers the other day throw a curveball on his show, and he said, "What's the largest nation out there?" You know.
What's the largest nation?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're asking me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's the large? It caught me off guard too. What's the largest?
I thought it was
nation
Africa.
Your
Africa?
imagination.
Phil.
And
that's good. What's the largest nation? Your imagination.
So true.
It is true. It is true.
Yeah. And that's so
your mind takes up a lot of real estate. It's true. Just, mm-hmm. I mean, what you think. I mean, so what you think is absolutely, you know, what your day is going to be like. You know, you're mm-hmm. definitely. It's easier to be positive than it is negative. Mm-hmm. It's easier to smile than it is to cry, right? I mean, It just is. I can say that, and some people do not understand that at all. So how do we get from A to B? How do we get that person that's got the negative mindset from negative to positive? How do we help that person, Larry? What do you
Surround them with a whole
suggest?
bunch of positive people.
What?
We surround them with a whole bunch of positive people.
That's right.
Yeah.
We surround them
We just
with the positivity.
Yeah. We sick the tribe on them.
Sick the tribe on them.
But
no, and I have to say, you're a big influence, and I thank you so much for being an influence and with me and finding those positive people, because I certainly wouldn't have had those positive people in my life right now had it not been for you saying something. And I really do appreciate it. Yes. And, Ken has a lot to do with it, and his tribe, and I would call him his tribe as well, that I've embraced their tribe. So the power of the 5, if you're, look at who the closest acquaintances, like look on your phone right now, who are the last 5 people you have text of? Who are the last 5 people on your messaging? That will tell you where your mindset is. That will show you, is it somebody going, oh man, drama, drama, drama? Or is it somebody going, hey, hope you have a great day, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It really does make a difference on who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying to get rid of your friends, but like Larry does, like he just said, he puts a boundary up. He puts boundaries up.
Yeah.
What's that, Larry? You cut out.
Just like you said, it's, I'm getting messages all the time. Hey, Rockstar, have an awesome day. That's all you need to say. It seems like, that's the tribe that we run with. We're always upbeat, just taking a 17-second break, running just a quick note. Hey, have an awesome day. That's the people that you surround yourself with.
So is there anybody watching that is having a negative day and they need to turn it around? If you do, inbox me and we'll discuss it. Or Larry sends me the have a great day Rockstar every day. I get a hey, have a great day Rockstar, because we're all rock stars, right? Yeah. You're a rock star, Larry. And thank you so much for being on my show tonight. I really, really, finally, we see Larry. We see him. He's on here. So you all have to say hi. He's not in the audience this time. Say hi. So that's good. But
that's something training. That I've always, most people like being up in front. I like being down the ditches with everybody else. That's where all the fun's at. Down in there helping each other out.
You like being in the peanut gallery. I call it the peanut gallery.
Yeah. Get those peanuts flying. Let's go.
See, he's like, let's go. So you're you are around a lot of salespeople. Okay. And I'm just gonna say there are a lot of salespeople out there. And the one thing that is amazing is they do become your friends. I mean, they're not just salespeople. They're actually become your friends, right? I mean, they actually are, relationship building, and networking. And I know that you and I, cross paths now on these networking things. So did you want to promote anything that you're doing recently or this week or anything?
I just tell people, the business is water technology. And it's come and hang out with me. That's how you learn about me. Let's go network. Let me open some doors for you. Come and let's go network and meet people. And, whether we're in a coffee shop or a Zoom or at the gas station.
Are you having in-person networking right now?
We got one group that's trying to go back, but most of them are getting to the point, it's more productive to be on Zoom, and now they're not going to go back in person other than maybe an after hours or something like that. Because
one
of my networking gals from the East Coast, Eileen Rains is, she said, have you ever just did your mileage over, because I'm in different states every day. If I had to get in a car and chase all around, I average anywhere from 11,000 to 15,000 miles a day as a crow flies. So, I went to our Tuesday group in person deal last week, and I was out of kilter. When I was only thinking, I could have been more productive because it took me an hour in the car. And
wow,
I could have been in one-on-ones or
that's interesting how this has
Zoom
changed, right? I mean, it's
deal.
changed our way of doing business for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So too,
So
I broke that habit to go back, and you look at things differently.
Right.
Oh my God, I got to get.
Well, on the positive note, and on the positive note, you're able to network a little further, right? Now that it's not in person, and you're able to, your reach is a little further, and getting to know people and relationship building. So, I definitely, recommend some of these networking groups out there. So is there anything coming up this week for you that you want to mention, or any networking, anything? You're frozen
Happy
again.
Neighborhood Project's a good one. Yeah, I don't know what it
Happy
is.
Neighborhood Project. Yes, I'm part of that.
Too much.
We're having Midwest Ladies on Thursday if you guys want to join, 11 a.m.
Yeah.
11 a.m. Happy Neighborhood Project. But that's a free networking group, right?
Yeah, and they're in different states. Goes HNP.com will get you to the main page, and they got groups going on in every state. Our Ninja Networking Epic Business Group, that's an East Coast group. That's a great group, and if anybody'd like to have those connections, message me, and I'll be happy to share all the groups and invite you and introduce you to whoever. And,
all right,
we're involved.
There you go. So reach
out
to Larry.
Yeah.
Yes, Larry is a great networker, and he cares about people, and he helps you. And definitely listen to him about his water, because I'm a big proponent of the water. Oh, eventually I will get one of those, and it's awesome. It's life-giving, correct? So
yeah, it's life-changing.
I mean, it's good stuff. Yeah. So anyway, I thank you so much for being on. Anything else that you can share positive? Any quote? Anything?
Just make it a great afternoon and get out there and network, and come and network with me. Let me open some doors for you.
Yes.
That's what I'm all about, is opening my network up to everybody. You can't lose. So, and I love every one of you guys. I have a blast with you, and thanks for letting me be a part of all this, because I appreciate that very much.
Thank you for networking, and opening the doors for people like me. And I appreciate it very much. And hope you guys got something out of this. Hopeful that, and if you are not feeling very positive and you don't know how to get there, reach out to one of us, Larry or I, and we'll cheer you on how to get there and what steps you need to take. If you even recognize that you're not positive, because some people that are negative don't recognize that they're negative, but turn that smile upside down. Or don't turn that upside down. I meant the other way. Be smiling.
Just always make it a great day. Just
always
make a point to have an awesome day.
That's right. Have an awesome day. So, all right, you guys, thank you for joining us tonight. And thank you, Larry, for being my guest. And I appreciate you so much. And I hope you all have a great evening and a great rest of your week. And peace out.